I still remember the night I stopped sleeping with the lights off. My name is Margaret Collins. I'm 72 years old, and for most of my life I believed old age would be peaceful. I imagined warm tea in the mornings, quiet afternoons, and long phone calls with my grandchildren. But I was wrong, because some stories don't begin with screams. Some begin with silence, the kind of silence that feels wrong. And what happened to me started 3 years ago, on a cold October evening in a tiny town outside Vermont. My husband, Daniel, had passed away 2 years earlier, 46 years together. And then suddenly I was alone. You never realize how loud a person is until they're gone. The creak of the floorboards, the sound of breathing beside you, even arguments. You miss all of it. My children wanted me to move closer to them in Boston. They begged me, but I refused. That old house carried every memory I had. Daniel built the front porch himself. We planted the maple tree together. We raised our children there. Leaving felt like abandoning him, so I stayed. Alone. First, life was normal. I woke up at 6 every morning, made coffee, fed the birds outside, read mystery novels, and every evening at exactly 7:30, I locked every door, every window, every curtain. Living alone teaches you habits. But then, strange things started happening. Little things. Things easy to ignore. My rocking chair on the porch would be moving. Not a gentle sway. A hard movement. Back and forth, as if someone had just stood up. I told myself it was the wind, until I realized there was no wind. Then one morning I found muddy footprints near my back door. I stared at them for nearly 5 minutes. Large boots. Too large to be mine. Too fresh to be old. My heart started beating faster. I looked around. Nothing. No person. No car. No sound. Just trees. And silence. I almost called the police. Almost. But then I thought, Margaret, you're getting old. Maybe you're imagining things. So I cleaned the footprints away. And I forgot about them. Big mistake. 3 nights later, I woke up around 2:13 a.m. I remember the time because I looked directly at the clock. 2:13. First, I didn't know why I woke up. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow footsteps. Outside my bedroom. Step. 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 My blood turned cold. I sat completely still. Maybe it was the house settling, I thought. Old houses make noises. But then I heard something else. A whisper. Very soft. Almost impossible to hear. Margaret. I stopped breathing. No. 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 I lived alone. I grabbed my phone. Hands shaking. I wanted to call 911. But before I could, the footsteps stopped. Complete silence. I sat there for nearly 20 minutes. Listening. Waiting. Nothing. Eventually I convinced myself I imagined it. I laughed at myself. Actually laughed. Old woman watching too many crime shows. That's what I told myself. The next morning, I found something on my kitchen table. A photograph. An old photograph. Black and white. It showed my house. My exact house. But it was old. Very old. And standing near the porch was a man. Tall. Wearing a dark coat. His face hidden. On the back, written in faded ink, were 5 words. I've waited a long time. I felt sick. Actually sick. My hands started trembling. Because I had never seen that photo before. Ever. And my doors had been locked. Every single one. I called the police immediately. 2 officers arrived. Nice young men. They searched the property. Checked every room. Every window. Every lock. Nothing. No signs of forced entry. No evidence. One officer smiled politely. He said maybe someone was playing a prank. I wanted to believe him. I truly did. But then he asked, Mrs. Collins, who took this photo? I looked at him. What do you mean? He looked confused. He said, the photo isn't old. I stared. He continued, the paper is new. I felt every drop of blood leave my face. Because that meant someone had recently printed it. Recently. Someone had taken a picture of a picture. Someone who knew my house. Someone close. Very close. For the first time in years, I was afraid to stay there. That night I locked everything. Twice. I pushed chairs against doors, kept lights on, sat in bed holding a baseball bat Daniel used to keep in the garage. Midnight came. 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Nothing. I started relaxing. Maybe it was over. Maybe. Tap. My bedroom window. I froze. Tap. 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 Slowly. I looked toward the window, and standing outside was a man, smiling. I couldn't see his eyes, couldn't see details, only his shape, tall, still, watching me. I screamed, grabbed my phone, but when I looked back, he was gone. Police came again, searched everywhere. Nothing. No footprints. No evidence. Nothing. But this time, one officer looked nervous. He asked if I knew the history of my house. I said no. Then he told me something I wish I'd never heard. 30 years earlier, a man named Thomas Reed lived nearby. People called him harmless, quiet, strange. He became obsessed with a woman in town, watched her, followed her, sent letters. One day, she vanished. Never found. Thomas disappeared shortly after. No answers. No arrest. Nothing. Then the officer looked at me and quietly said, "Margaret, the missing woman?" He paused. "She lived in your house." I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. I sold that house 2 months later, packed everything, moved near my daughter, and I never went back. But here's the worst part. 6 months after moving, I received an envelope, no return address. Inside was a photograph, a recent photograph, of me, sitting near my daughter's kitchen window, and on the back, only 4 words. "I found you again."